Alrighty, so we should be recording. Hello. I think it's good. All right. Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to Off the Mat. It's an intentional collaborative space for healers to connect and just strip away the gatekeeping and commercialized aspect of the modern wellness industry. My name is Grace. I'm a women's hormone health practitioner and a certified yoga instructor, and also just a lover of a good conversation. I'm here with Maddi, who is an amazing, talented esthetician, body worker, healer, specializing in Ayurveda. You've done so much. And so I would just love if you started off by telling us a little bit about how you got to where you are today.
Oh, Grace, thanks so much for having me on your podcast. It's an honor
Yeah.
to be able to share these conversations and get the word out about these alternative practices and share more about my journey as well. I'm grateful to have the opportunity. As you mentioned, my name's Maddi. I am an esthetician, an Ayurvedic practitioner, Reiki master, as well as Akashic Records, channeling, and recently licensed massage therapist. So lots of things under my belt here, and I would love to talk more all about it. Recently, I did just make a move from Wisconsin to Colorado, and I am re-establishing myself, putting roots down, and really honing in on my practices to offer cohesive services for people. So I'm really excited to talk about it.
Yeah, congratulations on just completing a massage school. That's huge, especially shortly after you moved. I think you've been in Colorado for 6 months, is what you told me.
Yeah, 6 months, and I completed massage school within that time here at Denver Integrative Massage School. And that was a really nice part to add into my journey to gain more foundation in my practice. Because I really started with a lot of alternative things, Ayurveda being the foreground of everything. And here in the West, we don't have a large perspective of Ayurveda. So it's been a bit of a challenge to get the word out there, and massage is kind of like pulling that all into grounding and offering that foundational level of being able to offer my work in its fullness.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I feel as if there's definitely different pockets and communities that know about Ayurveda, but could you, I know you can't summarize in like a few sentences the magic that this practice has, but could you tell the people listening just a little bit about how you incorporate Ayurveda into your overall offerings? And yeah.
Yeah, so Ayurveda is a form of medicine that originated in India. It's a bit of an adjacent form of medicine to traditional Chinese medicine. So more people know some about that, but Ayurveda it translates to the science of life, and it really has been around since the beginning of time. It just was translated by rishis and sages 3,000, 5,000 years ago. And people have been following this practice since and using it as a primary form of medicine. We kind of look at Ayurvedic medicine as preventative care in the West. It takes disease progression process back 5 steps, helping us get to the root cause of disease and treating subtle symptoms before they accumulate into something greater, more acute, where we might need that Western care immediately. Um, for myself, Ayurveda has been life-changing. When I got into the program, I had no idea what it was, but I came with an open mind because holistic care and taking care of my health and wellness, being fitness oriented, has always been a part of my path. So getting the resources from Ayurveda really helped me gain a greater sense of myself, the direction that I should take based off of my mind body archetype, and different practices that I could pull into my daily routines. So now my daily routines really have integrated Ayurveda. We call daily routines dinacharya. And in dinacharya, we're looking at the times that we're waking and sleeping, the way that we move through our days with mindfulness. We're looking at herbalism, big focus on diet, and again, that lifestyle piece. So, really just adopting more practices to live a more harmonious and balanced life.
Yeah, and I remember you talked to me about the seasonal element of Ayurveda. And could you talk a little bit more about how we can embrace the slow, mindful pace of, let's say, the winter versus we're coming into the summer months now, and maybe some misconceptions or things that people don't normally consider?
Yeah, definitely. So, Ayurveda looks at 3 seasons, which we translate to the doshas, which are mind body archetypes. So, we have doshas for each season that we're in. Right now, we're in the transition of spring to summer. So, that would be considered kapha to pitta season. Kapha is more earth and water elements, feeling more like the snow is melting, there's water, there's rain, so we might be feeling that like heaviness or density like the ground, as well as like holding on to water, maybe feeling more sluggish, needing a little bit more motivation, stimulation to get things going. And then as we transition to summertime, pitta season, it's more fire and water related. So we're experiencing more heat, inflammation, burnout, things that might need more cooling, calming, soothing elements to bring us back to balance. And the final dosha is vata, which is most like wintertime, air and ether elements, where we might feel more of that cold, rough, dry quality of air getting into our bodies. So more grounding, nourishing, warming elements in wintertime. And as I speak about this, some people might catch on that it's intuitive medicine. So if the summer is hot, we want to cool down. We want to bring in cooling elements like rose, chamomile for calming the mind, bringing in cooling herbs like parsley, basil, things that are going to kind of just give us a little bit of added support in maintaining that harmonious state.
That's beautiful. I love that. I'm over here like thinking about recipes. I'm like, ooh, basil, parsley. That sounds
Yeah.
great. And you do have a background in skincare. And so could you talk a little bit about how this soothing element right now can translate into skincare? Because one of our shared connections, Jade, always says your skin is your biggest organ, so you have to take really great care of it. So, and skincare is a big buzz right now in the wellness industry. And so there's a lot of marketed products, but there's also products that actually do something. So I don't know if you want to say a little bit um, about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like you mentioned, our skin is our largest organ, so we do want to take care of it. We have so much outside pollution and toxicities coming into our skin every day, as well as what we put into our internal bodies is coming out of our skin. So, being mindful of what we're putting on our skin can help create that barrier from external pollutants and antioxidants, and oxidation, I mean, and as well as nourishing our skin so that we can have a healthy biome. Um, I do like to bridge the gap of both ancient practices and modern skincare because we are making a lot of technological advances in skincare, and there's a lot of really cool new things coming out in the world. But some of the things that I always return to are very natural, tried and true practices. And that comes back to Ayurveda and holistic herbalism. So, some things that I love to do in my skincare routine is always using an oil cleanse to help break down impurities of the skin, and deeply clean the pores, as well as reminding our skin to not produce so much oil. I think there's a lot of misconception about using oil on our skin, but it is so protective and detoxifying all in one. So not only using oil on the face, but full body oiling is a huge part of Ayurvedic practices and Ayurvedic body work. So that's one thing that I will always use, especially in the dry climate of Colorado. We need a lot of hydration, moisture, and oil is going to be that. Um, I also love to use honey as an exfoliant. Honey is going to also break down any rough skin and kind of smooth things out, cleans out the pores a little bit further. So I love to use that as just like a mask or exfoliant. Um, One of my favorite brands right now is Apatera. They have a really nice botanical skincare line that offers what I'm talking about, the oil, the honey mask, as well as some really great vitamin C products. Vitamin C is going to be really helpful for oxidative stress as well.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh. We'll definitely have to continue this conversation about this because I need to tap more into the skincare world. I normally am, my zone is kind of like the consuming aspect of like the nutrition aspect. But no, this is awesome. And I believe you mentioned, correct me if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but Panchakarma is an Ayurvedic practice. Would you be able to talk more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you bring it up to bring more focus on it because Panchakarma is a detoxifying cleanse, and there's so much buzz about cleansing, especially when we're in the transitions of the seasons. Fall and spring are going to be the best time to do a cleanse. I love Panchakarma because it's not a restrictive cleanse. You still will be eating 3 meals a day, really intaking some good herbs to nourish the body and mind. And then it's really about getting the gut biome into a clear slate and cleaning out the things that aren't serving. So it's really just getting to like a whole foods diet that works for your unique doshas, mind body archetypes, and then just kind of simplifying routines and getting into an Ayurvedic lifestyle for about a week or two, adopting practices, seeing what works, and then, potentially continuing out those routines or just having it be a nice tonifying reset. And I say tonifying because we're not restricting the body and diminishing nutrients and minerals. We're still maintaining all of that, but simplifying it.
That's beautiful. Keep going, keep going.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that can be incorporated into a cleanse. It can be really simple. You can just focus on the food, or you can pull in the different lifestyle practices and then be supported by an Ayurvedic practitioner like myself, doing body work, different oil therapies like nausea, oil in the nose, or netratarpana, ghee in the eyes. And we also have karnapurna, which is oil in the ears. So we're really like lubricating and nourishing all of the orifices of the body to get ourselves feeling really supple and alive and nourished.
Can we just go back to the ghee in the eye? Like how? I've never even heard of that before. I try to avoid putting things in my eyes besides my contacts, and that's hard enough. So what is that about?
Yeah, so ghee, if anyone's unfamiliar, is clarified butter. So it's very pure substance. You can use it for cooking, but you can also put it in your eyes because it is so pure. It's not going to be an irritant. It actually acts as a purifier and lubricator for the eyes. So if we're experiencing inflammation or dry eyes, or maybe staring at screens too long and we get eye strain, ghee is going to be really supportive for getting our eyes just to like a neutralized state. And the part that I think is really interesting is that our eyes are connected to our emotional heart. In Ayurveda, that's called Sadhaka Pitta. We hold heat and emotion in our heart, and it sometimes reflects through our eyes. So by doing the ghee eye wash cleanse, it can help kind of pull out emotions that we might be feeling in the heart.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome. I'll have to try that with your guidance because I don't think I should do that by myself. Um, would you like I because like you said before, there is such a buzz about cleanses, and a lot of the cleanses are super restrictive. If someone is interested in doing this Pachakarma cleanse, what are some good resources aside from yourself or like another practitioner that people can look into to make sure that they get that individualized, integrated spiritual and physical aspect of something like this?
Yeah, I think getting clear on what your doshas are is a good first step. So there are great like online portals that can help with that. John Douliard's Life Spa has a great dosha quiz, as well as Banyan Botanicals. They're a great resource for Ayurvedic oils and herbs as well, but they have a nice quiz on there too. I do think that getting in with a practitioner and doing a full comprehensive wellness consultation is really helpful, because then you can get that nuanced, individualized care more so rather than a generated result.
Mhm.
And then there's other great resources for like recipes. I love Divya Alter's What to Eat for How You Feel. It's an Ayurvedic cookbook with different seasonal recipes in there.
Wow, I'll be checking that one out too.
Yeah, it's good.
That's awesome. And I wanted to talk about, well, there's so much, but one of the things is how you as a practitioner work with people at different points in their healing journeys. Because as a yoga instructor, dealing with people's energies, both physical body and mental body, it can be a lot. And so, how do you as a practitioner maintain your own boundaries and keep your cup full, so that you're absorbing or transferring any energy to your clients?
Yeah, that is the challenge that we all face as practitioners, is kind of like keeping our cup full so that we can overflow and give to others. Um, and that really includes so many different aspects of self-care and nourishment and um, diversity of how I move through my day to day life. I know that one thing's for sure, nature is always a good resource to fill my cup. I love to get outside and stay active. And I also love to rest and restore. The rest piece is just as important as the action. So, really being mindful of creating boundaries and space for rest, turning off screens, and making that time committed in the week or in the day to give to myself, because when we're giving to other people all the time, it can be depleting. Another piece that has been super helpful for me is Reiki. Getting Reiki certified really was a game changer for me when I first started in the spa industry. I was coming home feeling super depleted and really not feeling like I was ever like climbing out of it. But when I got Reiki certified, Reiki is more of an outward flow. It's not like I'm absorbing or taking in, it's kind of just giving to the receiver. So it created even more kind of space for me to have my autonomy and the client has theirs, but there's this supportive force of Reiki, universal life force energy working through me with the service. I do self Reiki at the end of the day to kind of just clear my energy field and reset so I can get good rest. And then I do tap in with that periodically to help balance myself out. And it's also important that I have my own practitioners too. I can't do it all on my own. So getting a balance with getting body work and energy work and filling my cup in those ways is super important too.
Wow. No, it sounds like you have built an amazing structure, which I'm sure took some time and practice and habit stacking to make it a more regular thing. Because I'm I relate to that in the same way of like seeking out other practitioners in the yoga sense of like I could run myself through a yoga flow by myself. I know the poses, the meditations, but sometimes I just want to be told what to do and get into that meditative state of like, no, we're just going and flowing. And then there's just a healing power and also a learning power. I think in this wellness community, there it's so important to go to these workshops to hear these other healers talk And so that's part of the reason why I wanted to create this platform, is because there's so much learning to be done and so much sharing that, like, enough with the gatekeeping, enough with like this putting a price tag on something. I think that the real power comes from just conversation and just sharing what we love to do. You had mentioned that one of your Reiki mentors had a really huge impact on how you catalyze pain into purpose. And if you're comfortable with that, if you could just expand more about that.
Yeah, definitely. So one of my yoga teachers, well, she was the owner of a studio that I worked at. She really talked about how important our teachers are, and everything that we know comes from our teachers. So giving reverence to our teachers is important part of our journey. And I've had multiple teachers throughout my life in different forms, but two that really stand out to me are my Ayurveda teacher, Rima, and my um, psychic energy work spiritual practitioner, Jenna. They both were really formative for me in my life journey and the practices that I offer the world today. Um, I started with Ayurveda, and that was like the foundation for my gut physical life understanding. And then I met Jenna, my spiritual practitioner right at the end of my Ayurveda training. So it was like one teacher passing on to the other, kind of.
So
Um,
beautiful.
yeah, but it was really transformative for me to meet Jenna because I met her at a time that I was doing a lot of personal healing, going to therapy, doing EMDR, really diving into furthering my healing. Because there was a lot of stuff under the surface. We always have that stuff under the surface that we need to dig up and kind of let go of. And sometimes it's not even from this lifetime. A lot of the stuff that we carry karmically is from past lives. And that was a huge learning for me. um, and then in this physical life, I did end up losing my brother 3 years ago, and reached out to Jenna the next day and told her, hey, I need some support with this. And we actually went through with helping his spirit cross over because it hadn't made that leap yet. It wasn't aware of it, of the crossing yet. So I was a part of that crossing process and really was able to tap in with the signature of my brother's spirit in a way that I never really understood before when it comes to spiritual work. But I know him in the physical realm. So when I connect with his spirit in the astral plane, it's like, yeah, that's him. Like, I know that's him. And that itself created a huge catalyst for me to dive further into mediumship and psychic channeling and learning more about the Akashic records because it just felt so real to me at that time. And it's continued to develop since then. Um, Jenna has been a really great support in helping me understand and learn, but also developing deeper trust and awareness within myself to the point where now I don't question it. I just trust it and know that what I'm channeling is real and true. It's definitely been a developing practice, but I feel like I'm in a good place with it where I've been able to be supportive for others experiencing grief of loved ones, as well as tapping in with spirit guides, angels, higher self to be supportive on people's healing journeys.
Wow. Wow. Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, thank you so much for being vulnerable and sharing that part of your story. And trust is heavy topic. Trust with yourself is heavy, let alone trusting other people. And in my experience with healing, trust is a is a big part of it. And what are some things that you either accepted or you learned to help you with this trusting process?
Oh, that's a good question. I think the word acceptance is huge. And when I think about acceptance, I feel like that comes from the heart. Our heart has to
Mm,
accept its circumstances. So it really is a place of allowing and allowing and expanding in the heart space when we come to acceptance. I read a really great book called Letting Go, The Path to Surrender. And the way that it talks about letting go is it goes through the different chakras and it talks about how different chakras might hold on to things and then what is the alternative to what we're holding on to. So it's kind of just like unraveling the attachments in each energy center of the body to help kind of raise the frequency and unlatch from the holding. Um,
mm,
so that was super helpful. But I think grounding is also a very important practice in trust because trust really does, it's not only acceptance in the heart, it is also very root chakra related.
mhm.
Trusting in being connected to something greater starts with being grounded here. Feeling a sense of stability, safety, belonging all starts with trusting in the root, and that's within the self. So when we build from that, we're kind of gaining more traction and trust throughout our whole system.
I love that. I'll be linking the book below and also reading that because that sounds like an amazing book. And that's been something that I have been really tapping into is the letting go and the surrendering. And so it's so prevalent and it can be applied to any situation. A lot of my students in class are coming back from injuries and they want to be in like a bird of paradise where they're balancing and it's like let's take it down a little bit. Like I love that. Let's trust that you'll get there eventually, but you also have to meet your body where it's at and
Yes.
just accept like I will get there one day, but right now I'm in this chapter of my life and it's not always fun, but it once you realize that and it's just so powerful where you can go with that because there's always judgment and there doesn't need to be. So I definitely love that and we'll be checking that book out. Um, Something that we had talked about in our initial conversation that I would love to learn more about is oh goodness, the reflexology, and like the nerve endings in the foot. And we also talked about, I'm gonna totally butcher the name, but it was about the mushrooms in the you know what I'm talking about.
Mycelium networks.
There we go. Yes. And I would love to learn more about that.
Yeah, well, I'll say I'm no expert in either reflexology or mycelium, but I do know some things. Um, with the reflexology, oh, so good.
We're back on.
All right. With the reflexology, so our feet and our hands and our ears all connect to the organs in our body, which is incredible. We can do so much work by just working on the feet. So if you're looking at like somebody's foot or your own foot from the toes to the heel, it relates to our full physical body. So if you think about the toes, that being more like the head, the eyes, the ears, and then we move down and like the ball of the foot is going to be more like chest and lungs and heart related. And as we move down, it's going to get, more connected to the lower parts of the body where the heel is related to our reproductive organs. So with reflexology, we're really just kind of applying a pressure to those areas and stimulating, getting movement there, because if there's some tension in those areas, it might be because there's tension within the body holding there. And another really cool um, piece to that is in Chinese medicine, they look at reflexology as like a really deep pressure, like really getting in there. But in Ayurvedic medicine, we call it marma. And marma is a really like light stimulating pressure, like with the ring finger, just very gentle stimulation. And that's going to help activate prana and chi in that area. And marma we carry all throughout our body as well. There's a lot of marma points on the face and the scalp, just all over the body where you might feel a little bit of an indent. That is likely
Mm.
where a marma or acupressure point is related. So there are many, and it can vary with how it's treated. Either that really light pressure or getting really in there deep, depending on which form of medicine you're coming from.
And it's important also when you are supposed to touch grass every day, right? To help that nervous system.
Right. Oh, yes. So that's where like mycelium networks and the networks of who we are and the world around us all become connected, because we should really be activating and putting sensation to those points, like on our feet, getting our feet on the ground and grounding and absorbing the ions from the grass and from the raw, fertile soil. That's going to help our bodies regulate and balance and ground down, just like you would imagine. Mycelium networks are all connected. If you've heard, the forest communicates through the fungus. So that's just kind of how we are as humans as well. We're all connected. Everything is connected. So giving a little bit more attention to building up that personal connection can lead to deeper connections with the world around you.
That's so beautiful. Yeah, I want to expand more on that, like finding a deeper connection with yourself. And from like a yogic perspective that comes with both mind and body. You do the meditations and you're going to class with an open mind, like you're not doing it to be like, I'm going to get this sweat on and it's going to be great. And it's really like coming in with what do I have to learn today in the 60 minutes and so in your practice in your modalities, how do you help clients find that individual aspect for greater healing and connection with other people?
Well, it's always an individualized practice. And when we come back to the Ayurvedic principles of doshas, we're looking at everyone as an individual. So it can be different for everyone. I think that, you know, getting resourced and then pulling in little changes, 5% change at a time, and building off of that, doing what feels good. If it feels like it's difficult or it's taking you out of routine, let that one come to the side, pull in something else that's going to be supportive. And again, everyone's going to have a different route to healing. We're all on different journeys. So being able to be flexible and try different things, pull in different practices. Sometimes some things will be supportive during one phase of the womanly cycle versus another. So we always have to keep in mind like where we are in our cycles or seasonally or time of life as well. They can all be, part of that adjustment of what's needed.
Beautiful. Because I think that I'm totally at fault for this too, but I compare a lot, and that is so not okay. And I even tell my students that all the time. I begin my classes with, there's no comparison in this room. Like, if you see your neighbor doing something awesome, like cheer them on, but remember that you're here for you. And I have to remind that to myself so much because it's so easy to look at someone else and be like, oh my gosh, like they've got it down or they're doing this, so I should do this too. But I think that's a beautiful reminder of that. Ayurveda reminds us that it's individualized so that we can become a better individual to connect with others, because that is another part of this whole side of healing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I always remind people that it is an individual journey. Like, even when we're in relationships, like, we're all on our own paths. And we might see the world from a different lens than somebody else, but kind of just recognizing that we all have a different trajectory going on. We're all working towards probably similar goals, but in different ways because we're meant to accumulate our own uniqueness in the process, our own experience. It's so important to have that individualism and um, that understanding that yeah, we're all a little bit different, we're all a little bit the same, and just getting a little bit more of that acceptance for each other can be a benefit for everyone.
More love in the world.
More love,
More
yes.
love. Is there anything right now that you are just obsessed over or just been learning more about in your industry or I don't know, in your practices?
I think all of it. um,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with just finishing massage school, I'm really in a stage of integrating all of my practices to deliver more cohesion in my work and also like adapting my practices for each client, reminding myself that it's an individualized thing to give. So knowing that not everyone's going to receive the same. Um, so that's been a big cultivation of integration for myself. Um, but I am also picking up on more of the mind, body, like nervous system somatic connection, somatic release, and like having it be like a full, like physical release. Whereas like Reiki can be very gentle and almost like subtle, subconscious, where you don't feel it, but like somatic work, you're actually like physically moving it through the body. And I'm finding that very interesting.
Yes. Pranayama or breath work is just so powerful. Like when
Yes.
the breath is such a huge tool. And people underestimate it a lot.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Breath
but
moves life.
it's truly, and I'll go to like a meditation and I'm like, okay, I got some stuff, I got some stuff to work through. And then they'll lead me through and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got a lot more than I thought. And then the tears are coming. Dang it.
Yes.
Um, yeah. So I love that. And it just having a regulated nervous system is something I think it's a buzzword, yes, but it's an important buzzword today because your nervous system really impacts so much of your body. So mentally, yes, but also your digestive system and your skin and your hormone, like your reproductive hormones. It really has like a hold on everything. And so I'm excited to read some of these books and look at these recipes and just kind of take some tips and try to expand my practice in that. But I have a couple more questions before we sign off. Is that if there's anyone who is either like a practitioner or somebody who's wanting to step more into this Ayurvedic medicine, into this world, if there's any advice for incorporating tiny changes that lead to more of an accumulated effect over time, I guess what would you impart onto them, or in your experience, what has been helpful for you?
There's so many little and big things that can make a change. Hmm. I think that, like you mentioned, pranayama is a huge life changer. I mean, it is our life force energy. It's our breath. It's what moves chi through our body. So just getting a little bit more of that self-awareness of how often are you taking a conscious breath in the day and how deeply are you breathing? Is it a shallow breath? Is it holding up somewhere? And just kind of getting intuitive and inquisitive about breath first and foremost. But then pulling in little daily practices, like one thing that really has been a simple change that I pulled into my routine is tongue scraping at the start of the day before you even take a sip of water, scraping the tongue and getting out all the excess, what Ayurveda calls ama toxins, cleared from
Mhm.
the tongue is a good way to start the digestive tract for the day. Our tongue is the first point of reference for digestion. And then something that everyone could be doing is warm lemon water in the morning with a little bit of sea salt. That's going to help digestive enzymes get moving and get the appetite going, because oftentimes people don't have an appetite in the morning when we really should be getting some nourishment in. So I think those would be three little recommendations to start, but there are so many things that could be, pulled into the routines. I do think that getting clear on what it is that you're made of, your dosha, is a good starting point as well.
Beautiful. And just to reflect on that or like rebound, that breakfast is you're breaking the fast. It's so important. I've had so many people come to my hot yoga class where it's 103 degrees at noon and they're like, I didn't eat anything. And they almost passed out in my class. I'm like, you guys, especially as a woman, please eat a little something even before doing anything strenuous because it's not good for your system. So, but yeah,
Absolutely.
yes, self-awareness of your breath because sometimes you're just holding it and you're like, "Oh, wow, okay. That I didn't realize I was holding tension there." And yeah, super important.
I just saw a post that was like, your attractiveness is correlated to your level of, or the amount of breath per minute you take.
Literally. 'Cause if you're like super like stagnant, it's like, okay, what's up with you?
Yeah, you can
But
tell.
yeah.
Your breath
Well,
is
I
constipated. We need to move
no,
it.
it's like, all right, hey. No, and I just want to commend you and just like congratulations again. Like for anyone who's not a practitioner and who's listening, like to move from one state and build up your business and your clientele and your books and your name, and then move to another state and do it all over again and go to school and learn more to expand your practice is genuinely just such an amazing accomplishment. And so I just want to reflect back like you're doing awesome and I'm just so proud and happy that you chose
Oh,
to spend some time with me today. And I would love if you like where's the best place people can find you and if they're in Denver, where are you at? And if not, like what are I'll link your socials down in the description, but for people listening.
oh, thanks,
Yeah, of
Grace. Thank
course.
you. You're so kind. Um, yeah, it was a huge feat to make the move, but I knew that if I didn't do it now, I might get stuck, you know, building a family in a place wasn't wasn't where like I wanted to stay. So, if you feel the call to make the leap, go for it, especially if you don't have, you know, things holding you down.
Ooh,
Um,
I got
yeah.
goosebumps. That's so say it again. No,
Go
that's
for
truly,
it.
yeah. Yes, go for it. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, but if you want to find me, I am located in Denver. I'm doing physical work at Radiant Mountain Massage on Tennyson Street, so right in the heart of Sloan's Lake area. Otherwise, my socials, Mindful Maddie. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Google. I am open to doing online sessions as well for Ayurvedic consultations, as well as energy work and Akashic Records readings. But if you're wanting that physical body work or skincare, come and see me in the studio.
Yay. Yeah, and just let this be a reminder that you don't have to take this step alone. There are people like Maddie who are more than willing and excited to help you on this journey because there's a lot to do sometimes, but you don't have to do it all at once and all by yourself. So,
Exactly.
yes. And let this just be a reminder as we're wrapping up to Remember to breathe. Take a breath. When was the last time you breathed? Just deep inhale in, deep exhale out, and just go for it. Just go for it and trust yourself. So, thank you so much, Maddie, for coming today and talking with me. I had such an amazing time just just having a conversation, one practitioner to another. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Grace. This is amazing. I'm so grateful to be able to share about these alternative practices, and yeah, thanks for opening this space. You're wonderful.
Oh, thank you.